When your child's chaotic behaviors are running your life, when you're struggling to find practical solutions, and just when you feel you've reached the end of your rope, there comes Harmonious Clan Podcast, equipping you with the proven practical strategies we've developed over the years through our own experiences to bring you strategies that give you results, enabling you to nurture your child from outcast to outstanding, and your clan from chaos to harmony. Welcome to Harmonious Clan Podcast. This is our intro series, From Chaos to Harmony, the birth of our Harmonious Clan. This intro series includes 3 episodes that will help you understand what motivated us to create Harmonious Clan. In episode 1, we'll introduce the theater child and a story about a real event in our clan that sparked us into action to create Harmonious Clan. In episode 2, we'll introduce ourselves, Marco and Louisa, so you understand where we're coming from. And in episode 3, we'll discuss more about our family background, introduce you to our clan, and follow up on our theater child from episode 1, discussing what we learned along the way and where the theater child is today. Make sure you listen to all 3 episodes to learn about the birth of Harmonious Clan, who we are, and the practical strategies we can teach you based on our real-life experiences. Visit our website at www.harmoniousclan.com to get a copy of our podcast download, the simple way to identify whether your child may be a sensitive divergent needs child. You can also learn more about us and get information about joining the clan. Harmonious Clan, enabling you to nurture your child from outcast to outstanding. Welcome to Harmonious Clan Podcast. We're in the intro series. This is episode number 3, A Day in the Life. I'm Marco.
I'm Louisa.
And today we are in episode 1. We talked a little bit about who we are. And in episode 2, we talked specifically about myself and Louisa. And today we're going to talk about us and our family, or what we call the clan, which is where Harmonious Clan comes from. Just a little bit about our family background. Both Louisa and I are engineers. We got married a few years back and had a honeymoon baby. And so we didn't have much time really to ourselves and went right from first getting married to having our first child. At that point, that was kind of a challenge for us. We decided that together that Louisa would stay home. We were both working at the time, but we wanted to have one of us be at home with our firstborn child, and Louisa decided to stay at home. That's kind of where our journey started with child number 1. We now have, as we mentioned, 5 children, all born within 5 years. So it's been a busy time for us since we got married.
And I've been wiping bottoms with my degree. Very good degree it was.
Yeah, and sometimes I try to think how many bottoms I've wiped over the last 7 years, and it's been quite a few. Anyway, both of us come from ancient cultures. My family background is Italian. Louisa's background is Chinese. And we found over the years that both of these cultures, although they are diverse, there are a lot of similarities in those 2 cultures. Both of them came from old, strong empires that ruled for many years and controlled large portions of the globe. Both of those are cultures that have strong ethics and morals. Family values are very strong, and family is very important. Multi-generational families are very important in both of those cultures. There's overall a sense of respect, I would say, for others and for elders that maybe you don't see so much today. And both of those cultures came from a background of ingenuity, clever, a lot of inventions and innovation. If you look at the Roman Empire, was architecture first to build like aqueducts and roads and sanitation. In the Chinese dynasties, there was more than 6,000 years of that culture in those dynasties. Brought us silk and the art in many dynasties, and brought a lot of peace to the Chinese area over many, many years. And I think due to that, our cultural background, we tend to do things a little differently in our clan maybe than most people do nowadays, wouldn't you say?
Yes, we do. We were just discussing that with our kids the other day over dinner on how it is that in our family we value dinner and family time, and we always have to wait for everybody to sit down together, pray together, have dinner together. And I know nowadays many families are even though they may want to do that, I'm not sure, but very much caught up in a lot of extracurricular activities. So many families are not able to do that, but we make an intentional effort to actually, we don't sign up our kids for a whole lot of those things because we really value the family time, this sit down dinner time where even though our kids are very young, they all try to help in the kitchen, cook together. We have sous chef that's, every child actually contributes and they have jobs, and we put a dinner together, we sit together, we chat, we clean together. There are many things that we do are different from what the mainstream does. For example, we don't give them a lot of screen time, TV. That is very, very limited, even pop culture actually. But we promote a lot of reading, we promote a lot of outside activities, family activities. We do a lot of family walks, family hikes. We spend a lot of time together as opposed to children going to extracurricular activities, coming home and having screen time.
Yeah, and I think part of that is instead of having them each doing individual screen time, which is not really a family
or
type
individual
of thing, individual
extracurricular
TV
activities.
or activities, we prefer to get everybody together and do it as a family.
And we promote a lot of outside activities, promote a lot of exercise, a lot of healthy lifestyle. In terms of discipline, I think our kids are also, how do we put it? They're always coming home with, well, other kids can do it, but so and so can, but they can, and
yeah, I think we just try to keep them focused on being respectful to other people and especially to their elders and being polite and having manners and being an ethical person because we feel that's important.
Yes, many words that may hear from their friends or things they may say, we don't allow that, and we're very clear about that with them. Overall, because of our background being different, because of our culture, traditions are different, we are not so much into the mainstream American lifestyle. While in many ways, when we talk about traditions and values, in many ways, we are not so much into the mainstream. So that makes everything very difficult. That makes everything sound like an uphill battle. To us, raising them feels like an uphill battle. I mean, holidays, they go out and everybody's giving them candies, and then we come home, it's like, well, no, you can't just have it because people give it to you, and we talk about health and their teeth, and it just seems like nothing is really easy when we try to raise them differently, and it's an upstream battle. It's not what the mainstream American believes in, and it goes into many areas. But our message to you also is not mainstream. It's also kind of an uphill battle. We do not sugarcoat to make you feel good. But whatever it may be, we will say it like it is. We would address it head on so that you can move beyond your current situation. Our message to you is definitely honest from our personal experience. We're very honest with you. We're very transparent about our own lives, our own clan, our own kids, our own struggles, our own journey. And our message to you is also very honest in that sense too. The most sincere help that we can offer and the most sincere support based on our experience.
Yeah, and again, I think we're basing it on our results from the way we do things and how those things have worked as far as behaviors with our children and the kind of things we get feedback from other people and from people we meet in public with comments about the way the children are behaving and such. So these are things that we found really work.
Yes, absolutely. We have the feedback based, about how well behaved your children are, how advanced they are academically, how what else do we get? I mean, we often go to restaurants and we have people come up to our table, get out of their table, get out of their way to come to us and just say, the most commonly heard comment to us is, oh, we've been sitting there and just dining and watching your children and they are so well behaved. Those are the comments that we get. They're just so helping each other. But we really, really put a lot of effort into our everyday life to keep the clan harmonious. And this is all what we're about to teach you.
Yeah, we just had an example of that. Recently, we were on a road trip and we were stopped for a quick lunch at a fast food restaurant. And a gentleman came from the table next to us and said he wanted to buy our children some, I forgot what they were called, Frosties. And he bought each of them, all 5 of them, a Frosty just because he said they were so polite and being so well behaved. And those are the kind of experiences when we see that, we know that what we're doing is working and people notice. So
exactly. But you know what people don't know is, hey, no, these are not typical kids that would behave very well. I mean, we're going into our clan. The 5 kids, they all have different diagnoses.
Yeah, and just I mentioned a little earlier, we have 5 children there, and we had them all within 5 years. So they're very close in age, and we've had issues with all of them. They all have different uniquenesses, I guess you can call it, from age, ADHD diagnoses, with anxiety, and very, very smart. And one of the reasons we started homeschooling was because one of our children was just way advanced to even go into kindergarten. So we decided to do homeschooling with him. We have another one that is on the autism spectrum. I forgot the name.
Complex, multiple diagnoses.
Yeah, a lot of sensory processing issues, and he would be what we would call, as we've defined if you're listening to the earlier episodes,
the child with SDN,
because he has all those
characteristics of a child with SDN.
Our book defines what a child with sensitive divergent needs looks like, and it's actually a big umbrella of a lot of different diagnoses, or even children that haven't been diagnosed. But our book talks a lot about the child with SDN. Then how do you deal with them on a daily basis to help them, really nurture them?
Yeah, and I think talking about doing homeschooling, especially with this child, it's very difficult for those children to learn in a normal environment. And we found over time that just being around other kids in normal activities is not easy either. But especially for schooling, Louisa has been very good with working with him and having to develop techniques that will work with him to teach him. And even though he's got these challenges, it's amazing to see the level that he reaches as far as his academic skills go, that he would never get to in a normal school situation because of his developmental disabilities.
Yes, and it's not just him, actually. All the kids have those kind of developmental problems that gets in the way of their learning. We have currently our twins started reading chapter books at age 3. They also have processing issues and many of the same issues that the oldest 2 children have. All show traits of the autism spectrum, of sensory issues, rigidness, intense self-regulation issues. Just living with them is just very difficult. I mean, they're all what you so-call the difficult child.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the children, the 5 of them, they all have something different, and each of them bring new challenges to us, and we've been working through that over the last 7 years, and have had to develop some techniques that would work. Otherwise, they just wouldn't be where they are today. And even our youngest one is showing some of these signs of the others. He's very bright and very alert, right? And he tends to learn things very easily from his siblings. But we know he has that special need issue in his genes because he has a lot of the same sensitivities and things from, putting on his socks and they bother his feet, or the clothes don't feel right. I mean, things that just bother him that we've seen before, and we're saying, oh, here comes another one.
Yeah,
so it has the same issues. So.
Yeah, I think we start to be able to spot those children very easily. It's like, yep, that's another child with SDN.
Yeah, and I think all of these sensitive children have needs that are different, and there's different aspects to their sensitivities and the issues that they have. And we found from an early age that the typical parenting techniques that we read about just didn't work. I mean, especially from our first child, just some of the issues we had with sleeping. I mean, he was very attentive and very focused and always awake and just didn't want to sleep.
Never slept.
And had a lot of issues going on. So we're reading all these books that are out there about different techniques and how to put your child to sleep and how to get him in the right mode and how to distract him from things that they're trying to do, and we just found a lot of those do not work on these children.
Yeah, I think I'm an expert when it comes to babies and sleeping and all that, but the tons of sleeping books, I have to conclude that some kids just don't sleep. Some kids just have problems. They cannot. All the sleep techniques just don't get them to go to sleep.
Yeah, I think with our first child, we read these books about when, children get focused on something, there's these distraction techniques, so we read these books about it. It's like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. We can redirect them. But, with him, and we found with our other children too, we would go through this redirections following these techniques, and
you escalate you actually escalate them because they're so upset that
they get frustrated that they're not getting what they want, and the redirection just doesn't work.
Distract them, yeah.
So you can try that, and I remember going through those days and nights and then trying to just redirect him for sometimes an hour or more, and then as soon as you stop for a second, he's back to, I want this, or whatever it was that he started with and just never came out of his mind.
That's an hour later. Yeah, that's an hour later. Fixation, being rigid, all of those issues. So we had to come up with something. I mean, the fact that we have survived, we're still living, our kids are still living, and they're doing fabulous. They're developing very well. They're happy children. They're very advanced. They're learning, and in every area is going so well. We had to develop some things. So through our journey, we developed a lot of methods and a lot of ways to help cope and help teach them and nurture them.
Yeah, and we've been in this situation with these children since day one, like I mentioned with our first child, and it's continued through the other four, where we see these traits and these characteristics. Just in general, just from where we are from a family today and our clan, is that, with these children that have these kinds of issues, we can never even think about hiring a babysitter, even when we just had the first two. Because of their nuances or uniquenesses that they have, we just knew we could not leave them with somebody. I mean, sometimes we don't have any family that's close by, so it's been just us, and we've had to deal with this 24/7 for the last 7 years, pretty much, because and as we had more children, it was more and more difficult to get anybody to watch them for any period of time.
This one's got this quirk, that one's got this quirk, and this one, if he starts doing that, you better not do this, and it's just.
Yeah, and I think through our journey and like I said, reading these books about techniques that's supposed to work on children and on infants, and we found out they just didn't work, and we realized that our kids were different. And there are a lot of children out there that are a little bit different and have some of these characteristics. We've been through that. We've been able to develop these techniques that are a synthesis of all these things that we've read about and learned, and found the things that practical techniques that would actually work on children with sensitive divergent needs.
And I know if you're listening to this, you probably feel this way. You probably feel like, other parents can just drop their kids off at this parent night out thing. But no, I can't because my kid does this. And you probably, if you're listening and you can relate, you probably feel that, there's something different about your child where just the regular things, the regular parents and the normal kids can all do. For whatever reason, your clan can't or your family can't. And that's why we're here. We're here to help. We're here to help and to advocate for these children with sensitive divergent needs. We're here to help educate, to help inform everybody, caregivers, parents, and just general public to have more understanding on what's really going on behind these kids that are so different or so difficult to handle.
Yeah, and we found, like I mentioned, from infancy up till now, this continues. We find, every day is a new surprise when some quirk comes up with these guys, and we learn to deal with it, and we work through it, and we're on a learning process too. But these techniques we developed through the years have really helped us, and we want to be able to share that with you to help you guys to help your children and help them excel. All right, so make sure you go to our website and download our resource for this intro series. There is a download there called The Simple Way to Determine If You May Have a Child with Divergent Needs. It's a great resource. Take a look at it and help you identify if your child is anything like our theater child that we talked about earlier in episode 1.
Speaking of our theater child, I think we should give an update on how that child is doing.
I think it's a good idea. So, and if you listened to episode 1, if you didn't, go back and listen to it, because there's a lot of good information in there about how the Harmonious Clan got started, and talks about the theater child, which is our son who went through an experience. And where we left off was that he was feeling at a point where he just had no self-confidence, and was not able really to function well in social environments. And we wanted to just give you a little update of where he is now, because that, as we mentioned in the episode, that was the turning point for us that got us going on this concept of Harmonious Clan, because we wanted to help other people and other children not get in that situation that we experienced. So we really wanted to be able to give you an update where he is and that what we've done since then and kind of where he is.
Right. So he is doing a lot better socially. I mean, we went from the point of we were a homebound family, not ever going anywhere because it just never worked out to take him out anywhere. That with the kind of experiences that we were having, but we're no longer homebound. We go places. We go to a lot of places, and he's involved in,
which is a relief, being able to go out. So.
Yes, I mean, we'll go to restaurants and places, and people are always giving us compliments with all the kids. And no one would ever think anything is going on with him. And no one would ever believe the list of diagnoses that he has. But he does pretty well socially. He's able to go to events. He opened up more. He's starting to have a higher desire to go out and reach out and, at least having the desire to talk to people, and he's no longer curled up in a little ball and feeling like he's not worthy of anything.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that he is now socially able to do more of the things that a child of his age can do, and go out to events and things and enjoy and experience these childhood things. And he's no longer this outcast child that is not included. And we're starting to see that outstanding come out of him now as we apply these techniques and strategies and work with him. He's definitely coming out of his shell and becoming, making that transition from that outcast child to the outstanding child.
Right, and this may not sound like a big deal for many children to be able to have the normal childhood experience, but for a sensitive, high-needs child, for our theater child, this is a big deal. This is something he never had before. So yes, he is starting to turn out quite outstanding from the outcasts. Also academically, with his reading, with his math. I mean, he's all several years above his year level, several grades above his year level. So he's doing very well despite of all the deficits and all the diagnoses and everything that's going on with him.
I think one of the things that's been most beneficial has been us taking a look at what things were triggering these behaviors, right? And so we started addressing those, and we started seeing the behavior changes and seeing him blossom as a child. And we do have a series coming up, our next series actually, that talks about that, right? It's called
Is this behavior really out of the blue?
Yeah, so that's a good series for you to listen to. It definitely helps a lot with you learning some of those techniques and the things you need to do to identify what may be initiating these behaviors.
Yes, you need to modify the environment and probably address some skill deficits, which is a lot of what we've done with him that has really helped address the behavior before it happens. It's really a big transformation going from outcast to outstanding.
Just the positive changes we've seen with our son and our clan, both behaviorally and socially, and seeing him and them go from this outcast to this outstanding, and having them be able to enjoy more social type events and enjoy being a child more than he was able to before, because of we weren't able to go out as much, and now he's been able to experience these things, which is what we want for him. And I think seeing how these techniques and strategies are working, not only with our theater child, but the rest of our children in our clan, really is motivating us to want to start the Harmonious Clan, which we've told you about already. But also we want to share these strategies and these techniques because they've worked so well with our clan. We know they're going to work with your child or with your children.
I also wanted to mention that our theater child, who had been on very heavy medication since he was 2 years old, is, as of right now, no longer on any medication. And it's almost a miracle.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a doctor tell us that to keep him at home and throughout college, and he's got to be on his meds. No way is he ever going to get off the meds for the rest of his life. And
yeah, they were basically we're saying he wouldn't be able to lead a normal life unless he was on meds, right?
Right.
So to see that now that he's able to do that without that, it's been an amazing transformation.
Right.
Yeah, so to wrap up, Harmonious Clan, we are your resource for these types of issues. So definitely go check out our website, www.harmoniousclan.com. We have lots of resources there for you, including additional podcast series. We have information with links to our book. We have resources that you can download, information about courses that we have. So definitely go check it out. And we have our community, so become part of the clan, and we're here to support you. Harmonious Clan, enabling you to nurture your child from outcast to outstanding. Thank you for listening to Harmonious Clan podcast intro series, From Chaos to Harmony, the birth of Harmonious Clan. We illustrated a story from our life that sparked the birth of Harmonious Clan. We talked about who we are, where we came from, and how we can teach you the practical strategies from our real life experiences, enabling you to nurture your child from outcast to outstanding, and your clan from chaos to harmony. Please visit our website at www.harmoniousclan.com to get a copy of our podcast download, the simple way to identify whether your child may be a sensitive divergent needs child. You can also get the podcast notes, learn more about us, and get information about joining the clan. You've been listening to Harmonious Clan Podcast with Marco and Louisa. Learn more about Harmonious Clan at www.harmoniousclan.com for information on resources including books, educational podcasts, a supportive community, courses, and one-on-one consulting. Harmonious Clan, enabling you to nurture your child from outcast to outstanding, and your clan from chaos to harmony.